Okay, perfect. So I want to say thank you so much, Yolanda, for joining me today and sharing your story with us because I know what you have to say and your experience is so valuable, and it will be so helpful for people within our community who are struggling with arthritis pain. So thank you so much for sharing today, and I'm so excited to hear about your experience, and we'll just get started.
Okay, thanks
So
for having me.
yeah, absolutely. So, Yolanda, can you tell us a little bit about your health history, where your arthritis was, kind of your diagnosis, and what was going on for you before you decided to join us in the anti-arthritis method program?
Before the program, it was starting slow. It would be like one part of my body would begin aching, and then another part, and it's like every 2 or 3 days, something else would begin to swell up or hurt. And where I really start to get concerned is when I was unable to walk and get out of bed. I wasn't able to type. I wasn't able to clean the house, sleep, pick up anything, do my hair, spend time with my family. Pretty much everything was becoming very debilitated for me. And all I had was laying on the couch and in severe pain. And that's pretty much all I did. My hands and my ankles will really swell up so bad that, and immediately, like when I would wake up, my hands were like, I couldn't even like close my hands. And I'm a court reporter. I use my hands on a regular basis, and I wasn't able to work for months. And that became a real concern for me. And I also had severe lethargy and needed to take ibuprofen just to get through the day.
Mhm. So pretty dark time for you. I know when we first
Yes.
talked that you had been searching for a while to find a solution for the problem that you were experiencing. And Yolanda, just to clarify, you have a diagnosis of rheumatoid arthritis?
hmm
Okay, yes, that's what I thought. And how long was this going on for you?
Well, I caught on, I would say it began like May, at the end of May. And I caught it probably like by June, the beginning of July, where it began to get worse for me.
Okay. So kind of just gradually started in May of this year and then just was getting worse over the course of a couple months to the point that you were at when we first talked.
Yes. And actually, I was an avid walker. And I would take my two dogs for brisk walks every morning. And I began to feel pain in one of the ankles, and then it kind of crawled to the other. That's when I started really realizing, okay, something's happening here, and then it just sort of kind of crawled up into my entire body. And I wasn't able to go for my walks. Like I mentioned before, I wasn't able to do a lot of things.
Yeah. And so how did that affect you, like mentally and emotionally at that time, having this pain interfere with your life in so many ways?
It was very depressing. I would spend hours crying. And I really thought that my life was failing. I really thought that I was dying. I didn't understand what was happening to my body because I'm a person who's fairly healthy, and I don't take medicine for anything. I weather through any pain or anything like that. I mean, I had triplets. So, I'm very busy, and I have a family and a future. And I was very scared and depressed. And I really didn't know what to do. I was um, going for straws that were like, there was nothing working. I mean, I tried everything and nothing worked. And it just seemed like it was getting worse and worse and worse. And as I looked up things, it just seems like everybody has a remedy.
Mhm.
You see these pills, you see all these things that pop up, and you're like, oh, this has to work. Oh no, maybe this will work. And I began to use all kinds of things: massaging oils, vitamins, braces, everything, you name it. And it just began to just increasingly just get worse and debilitate my life. I mean, I remember there was one day, my daughter and I, my daughters and I love to, we call ourselves girls on the go. And
Mhm.
so we experience, Florida has a lot to experience. And so we always pick something on a weekend to go and experience. And one of the things that we love to do is we love to go to the different malls and have lunch. And I mean, because they're in college, there's going to be a day that, they're going to be off and on their own. And this one day, I couldn't make it through the mall. And I had ibuprofen in me. And I had to sit down. And I said to my daughter, Annalise, you go on. No, I'll wait right here. Catch up. I'll catch up later. And as I sat there, I thought, no, something's wrong.
Mhm.
And she couldn't even finish the mall. She had to come back. She goes, it's not the same without you. I'm not going to go and shop without you. I mean, it's the whole experience of being with you.
Mhm.
Sorry.
Oh, don't be
It was
sorry.
horrible. Before the program, I was in bad shape.
Mhm. Well, I'm so grateful that you found me and that you found the program, because I know, like you, there's so many people who are experiencing these types of experiences where they're not able to do what they're used to doing, and they feel like they're missing out on life, and
Mhm.
it affects everything. It's not just physical pain, but it's emotional, it's mental, it's our relationships, and it's that's why it's so important to address it and not wait, and to find solutions so that you can get back to enjoying your life and having those experiences. So thank you so much for sharing that, because I know that so many people can relate,
Mhm.
in that way. And it's so hard to, um, I think, realize that there is something that you can do when you don't know other people, or you're not hearing from other people and their experiences. So, hearing from other people like yourself, and knowing that you're not alone, I think, is so valuable. So
Yes.
thank you, Yolanda. I appreciate that. Um, and you had said too that you had been trying a lot of different things, like you had been
Mhm.
researching a lot. And what had you tried until at the point that we had met? Like, what are some of the things that you've tried and that you may have had some success or not much success with?
I tried a lot of vitamins, different ones. Obviously, they weren't the right combinations, because again, the program comes with the whole, I want to say, quote unquote, Bible, right? So you follow it, and you're a different person after it. But I tried vitamins, I tried oils, I tried wrist braces, I tried ice packs, soaking my feet and my hands. I tried these silly massage equipments that like massage your wrists and your fingers and your toes. I tried exercising it and doing rotations. I you name it. I think I've tried everything and spent so much money on just frivolous stuff that either was making it worse because I didn't know really what was happening to me,
Mhm.
or not doing anything at all. I was just wasting my money. And I did try acupuncture right around, I think I began acupuncture around the same time I started the program, maybe like a week or two before the program. And that helped a little, but I was on the same eating plan, the normal eating plan. So it really wasn't doing much of what I wanted to see in ways of improvement.
Mhm.
But I tried it all. Chinese medicine, regular medicine. And, at a point, like I said, just to get through the day, literally, I would take 2 ibuprofens in the morning and 2 ibuprofens at night just to get to sleep.
Mhm.
And it was horrible. And I know ibuprofen is horrible for you, but I couldn't function. There was no way. I couldn't even get out of bed.
Yeah.
So those are the things that I did try before the program. that obviously didn't do much
Yeah,
for
and
me.
a lot of those things can be a good like addition for some people, like a
Hmm.
complementary thing, or in transition as you're, going through the program to kind of be like backups and help. But I think what people run into is that a lot of those solutions aren't really solutions. They're trying to address the symptoms, and they're trying to, put a bit of a band-aid on the symptoms, but they're not actually getting to the root of the problem, which is what we actually need to address to have that long-term relief. Because fixing symptoms isn't actually fixing the problem. And that's where people get frustrated, is because they're trying so
Yes.
many things. And, some things may help a little bit or temporarily, some don't, you don't notice a difference at all. And it's because we're not addressing the root. And that's what I really aim to do within my program, is to make sure that we're addressing things from where they actually begin and not just those symptoms.
I
So,
totally agree.
yeah, because we want to have long-term relief, right? Like not
Yes,
just a
yes,
temporary thing.
exactly. You want to be back where you were before, maybe even better.
Hmm. Exactly. So, Yolanda, tell me a little bit about why you decided to join me in the anti-arthritis method program. And also, if you had any reservations before you were joining, anything that you were like, I know you did, I remember.
I
But
am very skeptical of everything and everyone. Going back to the triplet days, I would research their friends. I would research, I mean, I Google everything. I'm like a little spy. And, I'm very skeptical about emails and pop-ups and things like that. So I'm very careful because, I am in the line of legal work. So I'm always very careful about where my name pops up and things like that. So the reason why I joined the program was because I figured that I was out of ideas. First of all, I was out of gimmicks and pills and oils and things like that. And I felt that if someone went through what I went through and is experiencing no flare-ups, um, there has to be a remedy. That has to be the key to success, right? So I was very hesitant because the program popped up on my Facebook, and everybody always says be careful with the little pop-ups on your Facebook and things like that. And those make me kind of nervous. But after speaking with you and going on the first conference call and you explaining the program in great detail, and answering every silly question that I had, I felt very confident that this was the program for me. And I even challenged you and asked you questions about who are you? Is this real? I still have my hesitant, I was still a little hesitant, but even after the call, I did my own little research, and I knew that the program was for me because even after I would read about your story, you continue to come through in different venues of my email or in my head. I would wake up in the morning and say, "Man, why is this still nudging at me that this may be the thing for me?" And then I set up I set up the initial conference call, and I knew then after challenging you that you were real, that this was a real person behind this program and that you were here to help people. And I thought, you know what? I want to be her. I want to be flare up free and live my life and be healthy. And that's why I joined.
awesome. Well, I'm so glad you did. And
Mhm.
challenging me, that's perfect, because you have to be careful, right?
Mhm.
You need to know that who you're dealing with is a real person, and that they are qualified and they do have the
Right.
skills and
Yes.
education to help you. And
Right.
absolutely, there's nothing wrong with being skeptical and being careful. And I also say too, like, my clients, like yourself, are like warriors. Like, you guys, you work so hard and you do question things. And that's important, because if you question
Mhm.
things and you get the answers that you need and you have a better understanding, then that's what I think propels people forward, is like, I know this works, I know why, and I'm going to follow this, and I'm going to trust in this
Mhm.
process, because
Yes.
I looked into it and I feel good about my decision. So yes, question away. I will say that there's no silly questions. So I'm just so glad that you found me and that I was able to make you feel comfortable and answer all the questions that you had so that you felt confident about your decision.
Yes. And that's the other thing too. You made me feel comfortable. You weren't this fake thing that, you could always tell when someone's trying to sell you something. You were genuine. The and the program seemed genuine. It was laid out very detailed. It was just, I knew then in my heart and in my soul that this has to work and this is for me.
Oh, I'm so glad. I appreciate that so much, Londa. So I want to hear about your experience and your successes so far, because you've been how many weeks now into the
I'm
program?
in my 10th week.
Okay.
Yay!
And yes, 10 weeks. So you're almost, well, how many weeks in? You're like over halfway there. So
Yes.
for people that don't know, it is a 3-month program. So yeah, and so you're a good chunk in, and you've been going.
Mhm.
And but you had told me that you had a turning point after your 7th week. So
Mhm.
if you don't mind sharing, Yolanda, what's been your experience so far, and like how are you feeling?
I am feeling amazing. My husband's birthday was this weekend and we were able to do stuff and I have been off of ibuprofen. I don't have to take any more massaging oils or anything like that. I just follow the program. I did from day one and I dove in immediately. It's not easy, but it is very successful. And when you first join the program, you are making so many changes to your diet that you literally, you do go through a detox because you're eliminating so much of what you thought was really your life, right? And so you do go through a sort of like a detox. And so, you have the tears because you can't have this and you can't have this. And how could this possibly work? And you start questioning it because you don't see anything happening. You feel okay and you're like, okay, well, I'm following the program and you're going along. And if you continue to follow the program, I can't say that enough, that you have to follow the program, you have to trust the program. And once you do, you hit this pivotal point where in my 7th week, I woke up and I was able to get out of bed and it didn't take me 2 hours. Literally, it did not. I was up. I'm like, wait a minute, my hands aren't crinkly or my feet aren't swollen and I could walk and through the grocery store without stopping and people looking at you like, are you okay? Or do you need help? Or it was just, it felt like the sun came up and it was like, ah, and it was great. It was like a new person. I thought, this is what she's continuously told me this would happen, and to continue to just follow the program because the eating isn't that bad after you get used to it and you start eliminating stuff and you go to these websites and you get real experimental with your ingredients and things like that and stay away from anything that could be possibly flaring you up. There's many ways to eat healthy and still have a diet where you're not in the flare up zone. This is what I
Mm.
want to call it. But I don't even want to get emotional again, but it was almost where I saw the light at the end of the tunnel. And I thought, my future has changed. My life is beginning to change. I could see my fingers again where they're not puffy. My ankles aren't getting swollen. I'm able to get out of bed. I can clean my house. I can spend time with my family. They're not feeling because your family they go through it too. Um, it was amazing, amazing. And every week, or I have to say every day, you feel a little bit different and a little bit different. And now I'm entering into my 10th week and I feel like a new person. I really do. The only thing I that I also am successful in, I do have to say, is that I've lost weight along the way because you eliminate all the sugars and all the stuff that's not good for you. So I did lose weight, which is good. Can't complain about that.
A fringe benefit.
Yes, yes. But I'm a new person. I'm totally a new person. I'm not even the person that I was before.
Oh, that's so amazing.
Mhm.
It makes me so happy to hear that. That's
It's
nothing
changed my
better.
life. It's changed my life. My entire life has changed. I can't say that enough. I can wake up and I can have dreams again. I can see my future. It's before you feel like you just don't even want to get out of bed. You're just like, what why? What for? To feel pain all day long and sleep and not be a person? No, that's not living. So that's what has been the success for me.
Amazing. Amazing.
Mhm,
Oh,
mhm.
yeah, I can't tell you how happy that makes me feel. And it just makes this work that I do so worthwhile. And yeah, I'm so grateful and I'm so fortunate that I get to have these experiences with you. And yeah, and just to hear how things are improving for you is just the best, absolute best.
You should be very proud because you're not only you're helping people, you're saving lives, and not to get into great detail, but people when they're in severe pain, that's all they think about. They can't focus. I couldn't work. My work and my I built my career for so many years. I've been a court reporter for over 30 years, and my clients were feeling it, and they were all like, "Are you okay?" And I had to stop working. I had to cut back. It was horrible. It was, and now I want to run through the neighborhoods and I want to be like, you have to know about this program. I want to be like one of those weird people, like, do you know about this program? But people would be like, you're not okay. You're not okay.
Well, this is a version of you doing that.
Exactly.
So I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful that you can share this because like I do. There's so many people that need to hear this and need to know that
Mhm.
there is another way and that they can feel better. And yeah, there is solutions for them. And
Yes.
not to give up,
Mhm.
that
Yes.
there is a way. There is a way. So
Yes, there's a wonderful way, and it's hard, but everything that is hard to do is so worth doing.
absolutely. And it's that mindset. I hear that like from you and from my other clients. It's a decision that you make, It's like
Yes.
I'm deciding to feel better and I'm going to do what it takes to feel better. And it's
Mhm.
that decision that propels you forward as well as we call it our why, remembering why we're doing this in the first place. Why do we want to feel better? What is that going to bring us when we feel better?
Mhm.
Like, and like you gave us so many amazing examples of your reasons why you wanted to feel better and how important that is. So
Yes.
it makes the challenging aspects about the program worth it because there's a greater purpose behind it, right?
Yes, yes. And I'm part of a face group, court reporters group, several, but one of them I'm part of is an ailments court reporter group.
Okay.
And they all share their ailments and what has helped for them and things like that. So when I began, that was the other thing that I tried that I didn't mention before. I went on my court reporting group to see is anybody else, because I know that reporters, they do tend to have like wrist problems, carpal tunnel syndrome, things like that, but not throughout their whole body.
Yeah.
um, so I was sort of kind of like seeing if there was anything that would be helpful through there. And what was interesting that kept coming up as a common denominator, and because I'm not the one who owns the program, I don't want to be out there, advocating for it. But I found a lot of the reporters making changes to their diet, which were mentioned throughout there and saying, hey, I have a list of things that, you might want to not eat. And so as I was reading all these other things about diet, that also encouraged me to say, hey, this program has something. This program, there's something to this program, because people are mentioning it on Facebook that they changed their, but not as in detail as your program, but changes that were gut healthy changes that were helping in some ways. So that was the other thing that I also tried, is
Yeah.
reading some of their posts. So it's interesting to see that other people are trying to figure out that, hey, maybe changing what I'm eating and intaking is there is something to that. So
Yeah. No,
yeah.
it is amazing how huge of a role that diet plays in terms of our health and how we feel, from physical, our physical body to like our mental and our emotional state. Diet is such an integral part of that. And that's the tricky part though. And what I teach in the program is that there's so many different versions of a healthy diet. And when you're dealing with rheumatoid arthritis or other autoimmune forms of arthritis, there is a correct way and an incorrect way to eat for those conditions.
Mhm.
And so what we might consider something that's a really healthy way of eating is not necessarily the correct way to eat for autoimmune forms of arthritis and other autoimmune conditions. And so that's where I think a lot of people struggle, is trying to find the right way to eat for what they need.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes, I have to agree. And right before the program, I started making some initial changes. Um, and I thought that I was eating healthy, right? You always think, just like you said, you always think they have all these versions of eating healthy, but I didn't know the detail of really what it was like to really eat healthy, until I began with the program. And I'm learning so much because you're a wealth of information. Conference calls are very helpful. I wish I could join them more regularly, but I do listen to the conference calls, and they're such a wealth of information, and I'm learning more about my body. And as I look back at what's happening around me with other people and their ailments, I almost want to shake them and say, you have no idea like how you can be so much healthier. I was there. And when I see these commercials with all these medications that people are taking to just cope, I didn't want to be that person. I wanted to get to the root of the problem, and this program did it for me. Um, it's just amazing. I'm so thankful that I invested in myself.
And that's a big thing, Yolanda. I know a lot of times, and I'm stereotyping a little bit here, so I know this isn't true for everybody, but I know it can be really hard sometimes for women to invest in themselves and invest in their health and invest in their well-being. And I think a lot of it is because as women, it's part of our socialization, and I think it's just part of kind of our inborn nature, is we're these caretakers and caregivers and
Hmm.
nurturers, and we look after our families, we look after our kids, we look after our ailing parents as we get older. We're looking after our spouse, we're looking after our friends, our family. And sometimes it's hard for us to make that decision to take care of ourselves and give ourselves some of our time and our attention. And so what helped you make the decision, Yolanda, to invest that time in your health?
You know, I decided that I needed to get back to my family and my future. And um, I am a very busy triplet mom. I have three kids in college, and all along my years, I've always been the person to help everybody else, my friends, my family, um, my kids. My kids come first for everything, and that saying, you can't help your you can't help your family if you don't help yourself. Well, you think that that's like a slogan that really doesn't make a lot of sense. Well, I got to keep moving, okay? I got to keep doing this. I got to keep doing that. And the thing that really made me stop and invest in my health is I decided that if I'm not healthy, I can't, I I have no future, right? I can't help my family, I can't help my husband, I can't continue my career. And I decided, because the program sort of kind of, which is so great, it kind of forces you to take care of yourself. And that is so hard because you always like, even when I go get my toenails done, I feel guilty. I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh my gosh, an hour out of my time, I could be doing this, I could be doing that. That's not, that's, no, take time for yourself, be healthy, because it's so refreshing and you become such a better woman and it's just, you're so, I mean, I changed my faith. My faith has grown, my spiritual life has grown. um Everything around me is really about me. I need to take care of me, and then I can take care of you. And you know what's funny is that my family, who's very busy, um they weren't on board right away. It was very difficult to convince them that this is what I needed and that I need time for myself and I need to do these things at this time. And if I want to take a nap, I'm going to take a nap. If I don't feel good, I'm going to take care of myself. If I want to go to bed at a decent time, because I have a routine at night. This time the routine is for me, not my children. Um, and so I decided that it was time, or else I'm not going to be here. And so the investment was so worth it. And I can't say, I can't say enough. And I've learned to love myself again, if that's corny. I've learned to just relax. And if I'm stressed out, to breathe or do whatever it needs to just take care of me. Because I want to be here. I want to be a grandma. I want to be around. I want to have a future. I want to retire with my husband and travel and do all those wonderful things that you're supposed to do when you're retired. And that's what I want. So I decided, okay, this time I'm not gonna talk the talk. I'm gonna walk the walk, and I'm gonna do it. And I'm not gonna care. I'm not gonna look back. And if somebody doesn't like what I'm doing, I have to say I'm sorry and be very apologetic, but I need to move on and take care of myself. And that's what I did.
Oh,
It
I
was a good
love it.
investment.
I love it so much. That's amazing. Yeah. It's so, so important to take that time to look after ourselves. Because like you said, if we don't, then we really can't help anybody else, you know?
No.
And yeah, it affects everybody around us when we're sick.
Mhm.
Yeah, it absolutely does. So it's not just about taking care of yourself, it's also about how it affects everybody around you. So yeah,
Yes.
that whole ripple effect. And
And
how
you
does
know,
your
my career bounced back again, and thank God for my clients who um, really stuck it out with me and knew that I was going through. I didn't go into great detail because I'm kind of a private person, but you know, they knew that I was going through some health issues and that I'd be back soon. Because you know, I worked really hard on my career. I mean, I have my girls look at me like I'm a champion. I mean, they really, my children look at me and say, you know, I want to be you one day, you know, with my own career and my own business, and you built it from the ground up by yourself. Um, and I'm thankful. I'm very thankful that I had a lot of support because it was not it was not long before everybody really did understand that I needed to take care of me. And it was hard for them, just as hard as it was for me to see me taking a nap when in the middle of the day if I needed to. Um, but now I'm back and I'm strong and I feel great because my career, I feel like I can concentrate again. You know, you have to have a lot of um, strength and ability. You have to put yourself in a different place when you're a court reporter because you're not listening to what's going on. You're only listening and putting down the words. So it takes a lot of concentration and focus. And I didn't have that. I was more worried about the pain and if I was gonna fall over and not be here in the next 5 minutes. So um, that whole feeling of oh, things are starting to change for me and become a little bit more normalized was a wonderful feeling.
Wonderful.
So yeah.
And your family's noticed the difference too? How
Oh
are
my gosh. My husband is a meat and potatoes man, okay? And he's an Italian and he makes all the pizzas and all the good food, and he's such a good cook. Oh, I miss his cooking. But he has become very, very AIP chef oriented, I must say. And he likes some of the foods too, some of the meals that we make. And so it's become very interesting in our kitchen because we do AIP version and then we do like a healthy version, but still with some goodness for them. And so we try to like incorporate the same things, but we're sharing meals, and he's become amazing, and very supportive. And my family has really, we were sharing a little moment yesterday because my daughters were making heath cake for my husband for his birthday, one of his favorites. And they still forget that I can't eat that stuff, and they're like, well, we need to find the AIP version of heath cake. And we were like laughing and giggling, but we had a little moment of just, Mom, she says, I'm so proud of you. You look amazing. I can't believe how champion you were this weekend with us. You were able to walk around. We did a lot of walking. And she said, they were looking at me and they were like in tears. We were all in tears of joy that the other day I went to the beach and I wore a two-piece, for goodness sakes. I'm not a young person and I looked good.
Awesome.
I
Awesome.
felt good. I looked good. I mean, I'm experimenting different outfits in my closet again. I just feel like, I don't know. And they even see it. They're like, wow, Mommy, you're like reborn or something. It's just crazy. It's hard to explain. It's hard to explain unless you know what I'm talking about, because you've been there, you've done it. It's just, I want to tell the world. I want to tell the world. And, I'm sharing ideas with other people who have asked me, what are you doing? Again, I take the advantage of explaining, and it still baffles them. But the biggest question is, well, what do you eat?
Yeah.
Because you say, well, I can't eat this and I can't eat that, but I can't eat this, and it's kind of like, oh, wait a minute, but I could eat this, it's very hard to explain. But then basically I just say, I round it up and I say, I just eat very healthy.
Yeah.
Just make it easy.
Yeah.
But everybody's noticing it. Everyone's noticing, something's different about you. My coworkers on Zoom, because I'm a remote reporter right now, are noticing it. And it's just a great feeling. Everyone around me, it just seems like I've had a new leash on life, and everybody is infused by eating healthy around me when they hear my story. And I don't go into great detail, but when they hear my short story and I'm able to share it with them, they're like, wow, that's amazing. And then they're like, oh, what is this thing? And you have to try to explain, the elimination phase and all this. And it's just, like I said, I want to spread the word around, because I really feel bad for the people that don't know about it and they're suffering.
Well, this is a perfect start. We're definitely going to share this story with as many people as we can.
Yes, I hope so. And I hope that it can save many lives like it saved mine. And truly, Jessica, I can't say it enough. From the bottom of my heart, you have saved my life. You've saved me. You saved my family.
Aww.
This is real.
That means the world to me, Yolanda. And when I think about it, though, you did the work. You did the work.
You gave me the tools, and it was nice to. It's one thing to give tools to somebody when you don't
when you weren't there. And I think that that's the other part of the story, is that you were there. You felt this. You went through it. And that makes it more genuine for people, rather than the person who didn't go through it and they're selling these gimmicks, and they never even, they maybe has studied about it, but they've never walked that walk. They've never walked through those shoes where you can't get up and your family is suffering because you're not there anymore, mentally. I mean, you're so in your own world trying to figure out how to get out of this horrible bubble.
Yeah.
And it's the tools that you gave me were everything that the whole program is. If you follow it, and I have to say that those people who are hesitant, do your research. If it makes you feel better, I did. I challenged you, and you were a champion because you know what you're talking about. You're a pro, and you gave us the tools. And if you follow the program, you will never look back, and you won't regret it.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, Yolanda. I so appreciate you sharing your story, not just with me, but with everybody who is going to see this interview and see and what you have to say, because it's so powerful. And it's so important, like you said, to tell as many people as you can, because there's so many people who are struggling and suffering, and they don't have to. And
Right.
they do have a future. There is something that you can do about it, and you can get better. So I appreciate you so much for taking the time to talk with me today and to share your story. And I know it's going to have such a positive impact for so many people. And I can't wait to get it out there for our group to hear, our larger community. And
I'm very excited, because I'm excited that if this can help one more person or 10 more people or 100 more people, then that's the whole thing, right? Helping people. That is the key. And I want to thank you. I want to thank you for giving me the tools and for being there with all of us, as our coach, as a mentor, and as an example of, where we could be if we continue to follow the protocol. And so thank you for having me. It was very exciting to be here, and I hope that we can reach as many people as possible. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Yolanda. I appreciate you so much.
Okay. Take care.
You too. You have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll be in touch.
You do the same. Okay.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Bye-bye.
Bye.